So the FEC has gone dark. This is the first time since 2008 because they do not have enough members to meet their statutory quorum. What that means is that they need 4 members to meet to vote on rules to oversee the American elections, to make sure that campaigns aren't violating election law. And they only have 3 members now because Republican member resigned ahead of the 2020 election. We have dozens of campaigns running for president, for the Senate, for House. Before the FEC shut down, they were proposing a new rule to tighten the way in which foreign governments try to interfere in our election. Particularly, it was prompted by all the controversy around the Trump Tower meeting. And they wanted to tighten the rules to make sure that no one affiliated with a foreign government can offer a campaign information or something that can be considered valuable information, because there's somewhat of a loophole that can allow foreign interference in the elections. So right now, the FEC cannot meet. They can't vote on matters. If someone files a complaint that says that this campaign violated election law, the FEC cannot legally meet to vote on whether or not to punish that campaign. Christopher Wray, the FBI director, has talked about how foreign governments are still trying to interfere in American elections, and the FEC is the frontline agency that can stop a lot of that from happening. There is a Republican lawyer that President Donald Trump nominated in 2017 for the FEC. That nomination was sent back to the White House. The White House then resubmitted it in 2018. That nomination has been held up ever since. People have been pressuring Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to bring the nomination to a vote. Mitch McConnell, of course, has downplayed the threat of foreign election interference in the election, particularly Russia. He has stalled a number of election security measures that Democrats and Republicans have put up in the Senate to secure American elections. The fear is that campaigns will simply not follow the law because there's no one there to prosecute it. They will continue to review investigations, but they can't start new investigations into campaigns. The FEC is vitally important to just make sure that dark money flowing into American elections are being monitored, and there's somebody there who can stop people from violating the law.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.